Hi, this is David Coons and this is Greg Meidroth. We're with Manhattan Beach Little League and we're here at the Refinery baseball facility here in Torrance. Let's talk a little bit today about hitting. We're going to try to keep this simple. Recognize there are hundreds of different thoughts and schools and theories on hitting, but we're going to break it down to 6 simple steps for you. Greg's going to show us the stance. Number 1, stance. Properly position the feet, get them at least shoulder width apart. He's got them wide apart. His knees are on the inside of his feet and his bat's resting close, hands are up close to his shoulder. The second is the load position. When we load up, he's going to shift his weight back. Arms are going to go back. His arm, notice the arm is not straight. We're not going to bar out. We're not going to throw the hands way back. He's still comfortable and balanced right here. The third position is the step, and sometimes the step is at the same time he loads up. He takes a step, gets it moving forward. And now, fourth, we're going to throw the hands to the ball. It's going to come through. The speed with which you get those hands from here to here is going to translate into a lot more power. Also, the power comes from the ground up, and you can see the power is coming now. Ball's about here, and he's ready to strike the ball. Now he's going to have the 5th step, which is extension. So he goes through, hits the ball. Notice the bat head speed accelerates as the wrists break on the ball. And the last step, the 6th step, is follow through, all the way through. So one of the things we want to look at, though, when we go into our stance is to make sure the batter's relaxed. When you're relaxed, you're comfortable at the plate. You can see he's not tensed up, he's not tight, there's no tension, the grip is loose on the fingers, and he's not tightened up. When you swing, be sure to load up, come through, follow through, and extension all the way through. One of the common mistakes you're going to find with kids that swing like this, or that don't swing like this, is their balance is completely off when they come around. You can see that freeze. You can see the head's lined up with the knee in the back. We all talk about squish the bug at the lower levels of baseball, but it's really more about getting those shoelaces and everything facing the pitcher when you come through. So when he comes through, foot's coming through, power generated right onto the ball. Let's go through the proper sequence one more time. First of all, get a good stance. He's relaxed. He's not tense. The bat's not gripped too tight in his hands. His feet are apart, feet are lined up, and he's ready to hit the ball. 2, we load up. The loading up can be what I call the launch sequence again. We take the step and load, move the hands back. Ready to hit the ball. Now we're going to go with the hip turn, and where we're going to generate all the power from the ground up, throw the hands at the ball. The ball's going to be about ready to get struck. All the power there, everything you can see right here, everything is lined up. He's not lunging. The head is in the same position as it was when he started, only it's turned, and everything's in a nice symmetrical line. We hit the ball, now we go fall extension, and then follow through. One of the most common problems that I've observed in kids this age when they're batting is head movement. We want very little head movement. If you see this swing here, you'll see Coach Greg's head moving forward. That's going to throw his eyes off the ball, throw his movement off the ball, and most of the time the kids will be underneath the ball as it comes over the top of them from dropping down. Right here, you'll see the proper head movement, which is none, keeps his head aligned with his knee, with his hip, and the eyes are in contact with the ball and the bat. One of the best ways to fix a problem like this in a practice is to run a drill where you set up the boys in a line like this, where the sun comes behind them, take their hat off, put their hat down on their head shadow, and have them try to swing without their head moving from the shadow on the ground. That'll allow them to try to keep their body straight, so when you see a proper swing, you see that the head is lined up again, once again with the knee and the hip, and it's a straight down line. You can see when he improperly swings and comes forward, everything is out of line, loses his power, loses his visual on the ball, and the kids are usually underneath it. Another common problem is improper balance. And one of the ways to quickly fix that, when a boy is off balance at the plate on his follow through in the swing, is to have him hold the finish for 2 or 3 seconds. So have the boys count out 1, 2, 3 after they finish. And you'll see that it adjusts a lot of the common problems when they come through, when they have to maintain proper balance. Most of the time, these kids are lunging at balls that they can't reach, and it throws them off balance, and they can't hold that 3-second count. So this will keep them focusing on the proper body positioning, weight, and allow them to stay steady, calm, and on top of the ball when it comes across the plate. One of the other common problems we find with hitting is kids taking too big of a step. You'll notice what happens when we take too big of a step is the head travels forward, the hips might be locked out from turning because he's taken too big a step and he can't turn the hips to generate the needed power. And also it ends up coming down and dropping his bat underneath the ball as he adjusts for coming down and planting that front foot. So one of the things we want to do with some of these kids that have that problem is to limit the length of the step, or maybe even make it just a heel lift only. So you can widen up their stance a little bit and just do a heel lift, so they could, instead of replacing the step, and then the weight transfer will just go at that same moment of impact. Finally, let's take a look at stance. One of the common mistakes that we see when kids approach the plate is their feet are either closed off, where they have to look over a shoulder to see the ball, or some of them are even far too open and far off the plate as well. So they're not going to be able to reach a ball that even comes over the plate without having to step in and be off balance. Remember, when you do approach the plate, come in with an attitude that you're going to hit the ball. Remember, this is baseball. One of the best parts about it is hitting that ball. So when you come up, make sure the kids are anxious to hit that ball, properly position themselves, and are ready to make contact when the ball is in the strike zone. If a ball is on the outside of the strike zone, the batter should not have to go jumping over across the plate to try to reach it. Help the kids understand that if they've got to alter a stance from what it normally should be, which is a nice stride forward, then they probably shouldn't be swinging at that ball at all. So when a ball's over the plate, it's going to be easily reached with a perfect form. Again, try not to focus on too many of the finer details of baseball, and just try to get the proper positioning for the boys so that it prepares them to hit the ball when the ball's in the strike zone. So those are just a couple of the common problems that we encounter with boys in baseball at this level, but try not to concentrate too much on the details and just understand some of these basic concepts that we've outlined today and try to improve the boys' experience at the plate, and that'll help them find success.